Hi there. So in this lecture, we are going to focus on creating a blend space for a character so we can strafe, run left and right. And of course, the animations will look right when we do so. Currently, we can run left and right, but we don't really have the right animations. So let's get started. I'm gonna minimize this and open up this. And I have already done this, but I'm going to delete my file so we can do this together. So if you go to the characters folder, I'm going to save all. You go to blueprints, characters folder, you can create a new folder here called blend space. Just right click and new folder. And then if you go into it, we are going to create our blend spaces here. So I'm going to right click and go to animation and select blend space. We can also create a one-dimensional version of this. If you go to legacy, you can see that we have a 1D version, but we are gonna use the normal one, the two-dimensional version, because the first axis will be for speed and the other one will be for direction. So I'm gonna click on that. When creating a blend space, you have to select the skeleton, and of course we are gonna select the Revenant skeleton. I'm gonna call it blend space movement. Let's open this up. And when creating a blend space, it's always a good practice to directly go and set your axis. So for the horizontal axis, this will be our yaw input, or should I say direction rather. Sometimes they call it yaw, depending on what data you feed it with. Let's see. So the minimum axis, I'm gonna go with negative 180 and 180. That's typical for calculating directions. And together they make the entire 360 degrees. So grid divisions, I'm gonna leave it at 4 and click to snap to grid. And that was for direction. Let's go to vertical axis. This is our speed axis. And we are going to have a minimum value of 0 and a maximum value of 600, which is default for the movement component. And if you open up the character movement component, I'm going to show you. This is the movement component. We have something called max walk speed. Here you go. Max walk speed is a 600 centimeters per second. That is, yeah, the maximum value is 600. So I'm gonna keep it at 600 and also click on snap to grid. So now we have a blend space. Let's go to our, by the way, if you just open up your blend space again, we have created it, but we need to put in the animations. We can do that first before doing anything else, really, so we get this finished. So I'm gonna make some space here. And at the very bottom, we have a speed of 0. So I'm gonna add the idle animation. It's really this one here. It's called idle. I'm gonna put it on all of these because at the very bottom speed is always 0. And let's see. So we have something called jog forwards. I don't think we have a sprint animation, obviously, but when we run, this is the running animation. So I'm gonna put it at 600 here. So at maximum speed, we can run at this speed. And if you hold down the control key, you can move the mouse around and preview how the blend space or the animations will behave, because a blend space really allows multiple animations to nicely blend together. And when you hold down the control key like this, you can see how well the animations change. So let's add jog left and another jog right. So now we can run right and we can run left, and we also need backwards. So I'm gonna go to jog BVD, I think it's called, jog backwards. There you go, it's this one. Running backwards and running back. So as you can see, now we can run on all directions. And if I move the mouse slowly upwards, you can see how it nicely blends together. And you can run right, and you can see it runs backwards, and the same goes here, but for the other direction. So I'm gonna save this. And if you look, we are currently having two input fields, so the direction and speed. So we need to feed the animation with this data. So let's go back to, let's go back to the animation blueprint. I'm gonna go to, let's go to the anim graph, go to ground loco and movement, and you can see that I'm gonna delete this. We're gonna use our movement blend space we just created. You can just drag it in from here. And obviously we know how to get speed because we already done that, but we need to get the direction. And I'm gonna feed it here and connect these together, and we already fed it with speed. We need direction. So really what you can, I'm gonna leave it like this for now. So let's go back to the event graph. You can create a new variable called direction by clicking the plus key. Let's just do this together. I'm gonna delete that. And I'm gonna create a new float here. I'm gonna call it direction. Change it to float and drag this out. I'm gonna do a set here because we are gonna calculate direction. So how do we do that? Well, if you look at this update animation update function, we have velocity here, and we can do let's see, calculate direction here. If you just search for it. And doing this, it requires the base rotation. If you read, it says returns degree of the angle between velocity and rotation forward vector. So if we provide the rotation of the actor, if you just do, we have a reference to the actor here, so get rotation. Let's see if I can, if we just search for rotation. Let's see, get actor rotation. I think we need, yeah, here, get actor rotation. So with the help of this velocity and the actor rotations, is actually the forward vector of this actor's rotation. It can, calculate the direction. And the direction is really a value between negative 180 and 180. As it says, it's useful for feeding directional blend spaces, and that's exactly what we have. So with the output of this, I'm going to put it in here to direction. I'm going to connect these. And in order to make this look better, really, we could make a sequence node, but I don't think that's necessary for now. But I'm going to do it anyway so you can see how that works. Hold down the S key and left click. You will get a sequence node. I'm going to connect this here. The first one is going to go in here. I'm going to disconnect this one, move this down. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to disconnect these ones, and let's see if I can make some space here. Yeah, so we got the velocity here. What I'm going to do is just move these down. I'm gonna connect this here and do this, and let's move this forwards a bit so we can really see what's going on. I can see that it looks much more neat now and organized. And so we got the velocity here. I'm gonna let's see, I'm gonna promote this velocity to a variable. I'm gonna leave the name as velocity. And let's just disconnect this for now and do this. Let's connect this here. So the first thing we do here is really just getting the velocity. I'm gonna save it to a variable, and so we can easily access it. So I'm gonna connect it here. Alright, so now we got the velocity, and with the help of these we are calculating speed here. So now we can easily access velocity. And instead of just doing all of this, we can just access the variable from here, get velocity, and connect it here. So now we got velocity, we are calculating the direction and saving it a variable. So let's go back to not this blank space, animation blueprint movement graph. We have direction. Feed it here. And let's see how the character behaves. Alright, we can move left, we can move right, we can move forwards and backwards. And the mouse will rotate with the character. We can have smoother rotations really, and in order to get that, I'm gonna go to the blueprint class of the character, click this one, and we can select, let's see, orient rotation to movement. Make sure this is unchecked, and search for desired. Use control at desired rotation. And if you read, if true, smoothly rotate the character toward the controller's desired rotation. And that's really what I want. We're going to test this very soon. And also click on the spring arm component and make sure you have use pawn control rotation and check the inherit yaw. And this basically means that we are using the controller's yaw rotation here. Or in other words, we are using its rotation, but we are also inheriting yaw. So let's again test this out and see how it behaves. Alright, so now we can move around and strafe as well. Alright. And we can also jump. We don't currently have a jump animation, we might add that later on. And maybe we could actually add it right now. I can't really see any reason not to. And these are the idle ones. This is the moving one. So now we can switch between idle and moving. We could really have a jump state here. So I'm gonna add a new state and call it jump. And I'm gonna connect it to well, move. And in order to jump, we need a variable again. So I'm gonna leave it like that. Let's go to the event graph. I'm gonna add another pin here. And we need to know if we are in the air or not. And in order to do that, we need to access the character's movement component. So I'm gonna just duplicate that. Let's see. It's called falling, I think. Let's see, is falling. So if you search for is falling, it returns true if we are currently falling and not in air. Okay, so I'm gonna promote this to a variable and call it in air. So if this is true, we are falling, and that means we are in air. I'm gonna connect this pin here and stay organized. I'm gonna do a reroute node and do this. Let's just move this forward like this. All right, so much better. Let's move this backwards a little bit, like this. Alright, it looks much better. So now we have is falling, and we can now use that in our animation graph to keep track of whether we are jumping or not. So let's go back. We need to add a transition rule, so let's see. So if we are in air, it means if this is true, it means we want to jump. Let's see. And doing that, we come here, and then we're gonna go down here, and that means we are gonna have a not here to reverse it. So let's see. I'm gonna go here to the jump state, and we need a jump animation. And really, in order to do that, I'm just gonna create a state machine here. I'm gonna call it jump. Let's go inside. I'm gonna connect this, and let's go inside of it. Yeah, here we go. And inside of it, and create a new state called jump. Go into that state. And here, we are gonna do a jump start. Let's see. Or actually, you can just, if you just go back and delete this, we can do this instead. Let's see if I can do this. Jump start. We need this one, jump start, and then jump apex, and then jump pre-land. So let's connect these together, all of them. And in order to transition between these, for the jump start, once this is finished, we are going to have an automatic rule. So I'm going to click on that. Automatic. You can select this here. It says automatic rule based on sequence player in state. And the same goes here. After the jump apex, I'm going to have another automatic rule. We come to pre-land. So when we come to pre-land, I'm gonna go back. So this will finish, we're gonna come to pre-land, we're gonna get out of this one here and come out here. I'm just gonna test and see how it behaves. Alright, as you can see, we can jump. You can always, adjust the jumping power. I'm gonna go back to the Revenant character, and then we have something called, let's see, this is our speed, this is our speed crouched. We have something called jump z velocity. Let's go with 600. Maybe that's a little bit too much. I'm gonna go with 550. Yeah. Currently, we can only jump while we are in idle states. Let's see. Let's see if we can move and jump. Just double check that. We can because they blend together. Let's see. Alright, let's go with that. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm gonna check the animations one by one. This is the jump start. Gonna go back. Apex. Yeah, it looks like this. And then we have the pre-land. Alright, I think this is good for now. I'm pretty happy with that. You can always tweak the jumping power if you want to. And I'm having 550. I think that's a pretty good value. Maybe, then maybe 500. It's really up to you. Yeah, 500 was even better. Alright, that's jumping. And I'm gonna delete this. So in the next lecture we are going to well, look at some other things. I'm not really sure exactly what we should take next. We will see about that. Maybe aim offsets or maybe something else. Maybe shooting. We will see. But however, we will continue with this in the next one. So thanks for watching and I see you soon.